Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I'm just gonna do a quick intro and then I'm gonna bring you guys straight to my morning cart. Most people call it a morning basket, so that might be what I titled this video, I don't know, but I have a whole cart because, well, I'm me and I'm extra when it comes to homeschooling, and I just think that especially group subjects are like so much fun, and just I can't just have like a little basket, like let's be real. So I'm gonna bring you guys over to my kitchen, it's not the dining nook, the breakfast nook table where we do our morning time. That is where I keep the morning cart at all times. It fits nicely next to my cabinet, kind of out of the way. And yeah, I'm really excited to share this with you guys today. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below and let's just get into it. Okay guys, so we're here in my kitchen. This is next to my breakfast nook table, which is where we do our group subjects every morning. We have breakfast together and do all our group subjects. So I have this cart here, and then I also have a math or a map book up there, so I'll show you guys that. But here's the cart. I have a bunch of these rolling carts. I love me a rolling cart. I'm a big rolling cart fan. So this is one of my smaller ones that just fit nicely right here and fits our morning time stuff just fine. So behind this piece of furniture I have on my kitchen counter, I have this big old book. This is where I hide it. This thing is huge, this maps book. This goes with our Beautiful Feet curriculum, which I'll show you guys in a second. But this is really, really nice. A really nice book for talking about geography. Right now we've been learning the continents and the oceans. And this has been a great thing to pull out for that. This is for like good for our classical conversations work because we do a lot of geography for that. But then also for the Beautiful Feet, obviously, that we're doing. That's where I hide that. So on this top shelf is like our main morning time stuff. So I have our CC Classical Conversations flashcards for the math map. We do an individual math, which I talked about like in my last update video, what we're doing and what I've decided on for that. But then we're also going to be trying the math map through Classical Conversations. We are actually starting Classical Conversations next week, and so I was kind of waiting to start it then. But I have like multiplication, flashcards, addition. I really like these flashcards by CC, and notations flashcards. So the math map is a like, whatchamacallit, a family style math, which is really cool. So I'm excited to try that out this year. So that's why I have it in our group subjects. And then I also have a dry erase marker because we do some dry erase stuff with some of our manipulatives. And also I usually have a whiteboard out here, but I guess it's in the schoolroom. So that's normally out here too. Okay, and then before I get into our group subjects, this is just, I have spread out like some kind of fidget type stuff for the kids when I'm reading to them. So a Slinky from good old HEB. This is one of our prizes we got from HEB. And then I also have this Water Wow. This is actually really cool by Melissa and Dad. My kids really like the ones that you can buy at HEB and probably other places, the reusable or non-reusable ones. This is a reusable one, which is so much more cost effective. I got this on sale for like the price of the non-reusable ones. And it's been a really nice thing. So I'll pull that out sometimes just to keep one of the kids happy. And also they use this stuff even not during school time. Okay, and then in here we have our Bible. So this is the children's Bible that we're going through. We started this like midway through last school year, something like that. I'm not sure, but we are on, it's a year one. We're on March 24th, but we didn't start, like when we started this at the January, we didn't start at that time, but anyway. So we are just reading like one of these a day for our Bible. It's good. It has like questions at the end. Remember, discover, apply. that I will discuss with my kids. And then some days it will have like, does God ever make a mistake, and a Bible verse about that, and a discussion about that question. What did the skies tell us about God? So kind of like questions the kids might have. You can tell I do this over breakfast. It's like dirty, gross. But anyway, the kids are usually eating breakfast at this point, because this is the first thing we do, and I read this to them. And then another thing we have been using is Big Thoughts for Little People. This one is cool. It's ABCs to help you grow. So it's another kind of Bible type thing, but it has, each spread has a letter of the alphabet that it starts with, like B is for behave. And we discuss that. And then in the picture, it's very detailed, and it talks about like two little girls fighting over their ice cream. There's a Bible verse. Talks about like if God wants us to behave and all of that. My littlest, my 3, almost 4-year-old, she adores this book. She can just like look at it and stare at the pictures and talk about them. So this is really fun, but it's just like a quick little thing that we will read in the morning. And then this we have not started for this school year yet, but I am wanting to, the R24 Family Ways by Clay Clarkson. So I do think we will start that at some point this year. And then I have the Tall Book of Nursery Tales. This was from one of our Sunlight, like preschool Sunlight curriculums. My kids love these nursery tales, and I think they're really good stories to like just know and have read as a kid, like Little Red Riding Hood and you know, the Gingerbread Man. Like, my kids are captivated when I read these stories. They're just short enough to keep them interested the whole time. Jack and the Beanstalk. I have really liked this book. I like that it has multiple stories, that they've got good pictures. The Ugly Duckling, just classic fairy tales. But they are in this like book that's not too big. Some of these like classic books that have a ton of them, it's like a super big thick book. This one's just nice and like thin and light. So I'll just pull this out and read it to them. I think we've definitely read like all of them, but we'll reread some of them. So my kids just really like these, like the Three Little Pigs, you know. So these are just a fun classic to read. Another classic thing I like, and we've read this one for years, is these Mother Goose, you know, little poems. These are awesome, and I even read these like to my oldest years ago. Like, this was from a preschool curriculum from Sunlight, but I love this. It also has the alphabet. Oh wait, maybe it's like in the middle somewhere. Somewhere there's the alphabet. Oh, here it is. And so I will, since my kids are still little, especially like my youngest, who's almost 4, like she basically knows her letters already, but it's really good to like sing the alphabet and point to the letters, and I liked just having it in this book. So I've used this for years and years. And then like my kids like to memorize some of these, like Solomon Grundy, Born on Monday, that one Henry has memorized. So we'll just read a couple, memorize them sometimes, and they're just really fun, and this is a really pretty book. So I love that, and we've used that for years. And then I just have some coloring books. This one's like coloring book and stickers. This is a coloring book for Charlie, my youngest, and then this is like a word search for Henry, and then this is like a Mad Libs that I thought we would try this year. We've never done Mad Libs, but I've heard that's super fun. So these are just some fun things I have in here for us to do. I usually will have them something to color that I just kind of get out and set on the table in the morning. Then in here I have our math map from Classical Conversations. This is the the family style math I was talking about. So it's kind of Charlotte Mason. I mean, it's classical, you know, and so you have a different, like each week you have a different artist piece here that you discuss, and then they trace the numbers, or not the numbers, but yeah, there are numbers. They trace the math information. I don't think I would use this as like their only math curriculum, but I think it's really cool. And like I said, we haven't started quite yet, but I'll let you guys know what I think of it. So I just have the first week or second week maybe right here ready to go for us when we start that. Another CC thing I have in here is our science cards. We haven't started CC yet, so I haven't used these yet, but I imagine I will, and they have really good, so like energy, the capacity to work. They're really nice quality cards, and then on the back it has like lots of info on it, and you can even go deeper, it says. So I think these are just really cool, really nice, well done cards. So I'm excited to use these as we start. I hope I got this right, of these are the science cards we need for this cycle. We are new to CC. And then as for our history for group subjects, obviously we're doing classical conversations, but to go along with that, we're doing Beautiful Feet Around the World with picture books, which I think I mentioned to you guys. This is part 2 because it deals with Europe, which is a big part of cycle 2 for CC. So that's why I picked part 2. We actually already had part 1. We had started it years ago, didn't finish it. We will go back to it because I am loving this curriculum. Right now we're in France, and my kids love it. So, you know, we've talked about France. We've opened up the map, that book I showed you guys, that big map book. And we've looked at like the different like architectural, you know, spots in France. Today we talked about the Eiffel Tower, and I actually decided to read them Madeleine because it has a lot of like, what is the word, landmarks or whatever that you would think of in France in the pictures in the Madeleine so that one went great, and that wasn't even one of their suggestions. But we're still on this. So this is lesson 1, but we've spent like a week and a half on just this part here. So, I mean, it depends on the age of your kids. Probably mine are still pretty young, 8, 6, and almost 4. So, but we really honed in on here. We've been working on it says to listen to the continent song or a continent song. We look up the continent song on YouTube, and it's my kid's literal favorite. Like Charlie watches it for fun on her iPad. So anyway, I'm really excited to use this curriculum this year. We have just already been loving it, and we've barely scratched the surface. And what I like about this is we just do as much as we want to. I feel like I should do a whole video comparing it to Sunlight, but I like that there's not like this spread of like, check this off today, check that off today. And it's more kind of like a suggestion. Like I said, we've spent forever on just lesson 1. So that just works best for my phase of life with my kids right now. So we're doing that, and I have that here. I have their beautiful, I love these. They're beautiful notebooks that you can get. And all we've done is put their names. We haven't put anything in it yet because we're still just on lesson 1, but this is like so smooth, just like the Beautiful Feet book, and such good quality, and I imagine just keeping these forever and looking back on them. So I have one for each of my kiddos, and I love those. And then I have the books that will go along with France. So I have The Little Prince, Anatoly, Stone Soup, love that book, and Anno's Journey. So a lot of these Anno's ones, they're like, they have no words on the page books, but they do in the back talk about the scene. And so it's kind of like the words are just in the back. But these are really cool to kind of give you a feel for whatever area you're visiting. My kids love geography right now, which is, I think, part of why I've been loving The Good and the Beautiful for their individual subjects, because my kids love geography so much. And The Beautiful has geography in both their math and English. And then for our science this year, since in CC we're doing cycle 2, which has a lot to do with space, I chose Sparks and Stars by The Good and the Beautiful, their little hearts and hands curriculum, since my oldest is, well, my oldest is 16, but he's doing his own thing through CC, but he's obviously not doing group subjects with his 8, 6, and almost 4-year-old siblings. But this is super cute, and since they're all little, I just thought we would start with the little hearts and hands and just go through some of these units before we move on. We haven't started this yet. We've just been focusing on the history, but I'm really excited to do this. So that's this big book of stories. And then, oh, I do have a whiteboard in here. I know I did. And then this is the parent guide. Really good quality. The Good and the Beautiful, their science units, I think, are my favorite that they have. Like, I just love Force in Motion. I just, like a playground, how cute is that? They just understand homeschoolers, they understand kids in such a good way. Electricity, magnets. So I do think I need to get a little prepared for this, like make sure I have all of the stuff we might need if we do an experiment that day. But it's much simpler than their other units as far as experiments go, which I like because my kids are so young. And then right here, I have just this whiteboard. They can practice writing their names, or I can use this side for just something I'm talking to them about, just for, you know, sporadic, like, randomly I'll do that. We also have a homeschool iPad now that I will hold up when we're watching videos. Like today we pulled up a video on the Eiffel Tower for our Beautiful Feet curriculum. And so I just pulled that up on our homeschool iPad. I found that much easier than going to the couch and putting it on our TV because, you know, our TV can do YouTube and stuff, but it's just, it's kind of like chaos. I feel like once we leave the table, chaos ensues, so I like to get it done at the table. So we'll watch our continent song on the homeschool iPad. I was doing it on my phone, but the screen is so small and my kids start to fight like crazy. So the iPad is a bigger screen. They can see it better, and we watch, you know, educational videos and things like that. But sometimes I just want to write something, or I want one of the kids to practice writing their name. So I have that, and I imagine I'll use that with the math map probably too, and then of course the dry erase marker. So this is like the bulk of our group subjects right here, and I just have these clear containers. I think I got off Amazon. I have a few of these. They are great for organizing. And then this little thing I just got from Target. So that's that. And then on the second row is like our manipulatives, fidgets, things for when I'm trying to read to them to like keep them occupied. So one thing I have here is, what is this stuff? It's like this foam like stuff that my kids just love. They've mixed the colors. It did not come this rainbow color. They've mixed the colors, but you can just pull it apart, and like it's very satisfying, and you can like mold it into different things, and it doesn't really get stuck to anything, which is something that I like. I like slime. My kids love slime, but it ruins carpet and rugs and stuff. This, you know, if they leave it somewhere, it's not really gonna stick to anything. So this is something I'll just let them play with during their morning time. And then I have these are the Walmart pencil cases that are like $1 or something that they sell during when it's back to school, maybe other times, but I think it's mainly back to school time. So I got some of these, and I have our number blocks. Is that what you call these? Just these like things that generally used for like counting and adding and stuff. My kids like to like make guns and like random houses and random shapes out of these. So I like having them in separate containers so that they can like, okay, one kid gets this one kid gets this one. These are stackable. And then this one has some of those, and it also has just some fidget things. So like, especially my almost 4-year-old, she loves squishies and poppets and things like that. And so that will definitely keep her entertained during our morning time. And then another container I have is for our clock stuff. So I've realized with learning to tell time, you spend a good amount of time teaching kids. Like my son who's in 3rd grade, he's doing the Good and the Beautiful Math 3. We're still talking about time, like quarter till, learning about that and stuff. So this is nice because it's like a match thing, and it also has dice. And then we can use the dry erase marker to fill in like what time it is on there. And then we have the dice to play games. And then they love, their favorite part is this clock. It goes like when you move the minute hand, the hour hand moves. They love this thing. So this is just a good way to like practice telling time. And then I also, here's like, see another squishy. These things make my daughter, especially she's still kind of a toddler, she's still technically 3, keeps her happy during the morning time. This is the number block stuff that came with some of these blocks, and I don't know if I'm gonna put this on or not, but they do have like these, which we haven't used yet, but you can like, it's for like adding and stuff, and you line up those blocks on there. So we'll probably use that at some point. So I just have those under here. And then the bottom right here is my oldest stuff, which I never get around to working with him on. I need to this school year, like I need to. So I have this. He's doing chemistry again this year, but he's doing it with CC. And this is something we've had in the past. It's the Gather Round chemistry. And I thought it would be fun just to read about chemistry. It talks about like chemistry in the laundry room and the periodic table and just like practical chemistry stuff. So I thought it might be fun just to read this with him, chemistry in the garage. You guys can't see that. Chemistry in the garage, stuff like that. Don't do any of the experiments because he's gonna be doing that at CC, but just like read about the real life application of chemistry in this. I love chemistry. It's actually my favorite subject, which is probably weird to some people, but I loved chemistry in college. So we have that down there for him. And then this is something I really want to get to with him. It is, I started this, Health and the Human Mind. So this talks about health, but it also talks about, like, it comes with this book pack this is by The Good and the Beautiful, and it talks about the addiction questions and answer books. So it talks about like smoking and vaping and like drugs and things like that that you need to talk to teenagers about, obviously. So this is a cool book for that. And then The Amazing Thing Called Memory. So you learn about memory in this. A Penny for Your Thoughts. So I think I got this and I tried to do this with my younger kid and him a few years ago, like my oldest of the littles, and this was just a little too old for my younger kid. At first they just talked about like eyesight and stuff like that, which was totally fun actually for them both, but then it started to get a little too deep. So this is for my oldest. Hopefully at some point we can get to that. And then the last thing I have for him that we've done some of is Government by The Good and the Beautiful, the Constitution, like the study of the Constitution. US Constitution, which actually my 8-year-old does like listening in on this too when I do it with my oldest. So, oh, and I also have the last thing in here for him that I would like to get to this year. It's this little study on excuses. It's like a biblical study on making excuses and like for example, when Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden fruit and Eve was like, the serpent deceived me, so I ate it. And Adam's like, Eve deceived me, so I ate it. And just like making excuses and just like a study on that. So I thought that was cool for a teenager. So anyway, hopefully we will get to some of these things this year. I'm getting a lot more organized and my kids are getting older, and so it's easier for me to get to stuff when I'm not dealing with like a baby or a young toddler. So hopefully we will get to these little extra things for my oldest. I've also been working on him doing chores and stuff, and so we've been getting into better routines, but hopefully we'll get into that stuff some this year. So anyway, that is our entire morning basket. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you're new and click the bell to be notified when I post new videos. See you next time. Bye.